What's funny about Bickus Dickus? Well, it's a joke name, sir.
Ancient Greeks, Egyptians and Romans. Our history is fascinating, dramatic and diverse. Or is it? Because every time we switch on the TV to learn about our ancestors, they conspicuously sound very British indeed.
I do not grant private audiences to unidentified persons.
Over time, RP, or received pronunciation, became a de facto default historical accent. RP is an umbrella term for the British English accent, one we associate with Queen's English or old-fashioned BBC.
Shirley Williams decides she won't stand for Parliament until there's a change in Labour's left-wing policies.
These particular branches of British accents were used in all the movies to suggest sophistication, upper class and royal status.
Welcome, Consul. We had given up all hope for you.
And as the audiences became used to it, they kinda started to expect it. Once we establish a pattern, over time, following it feels right, even though it might not be accurate.
Lord, Cassius informs me your Greek ballet is here.
Greek ballet? Where are they?
Waiting outside to greet you.
British TV and movies of that time, even parodies like Life of Brian, were hugely influential and reinforced the perception of ancient times sounding like a posh BBC presenter.
More than most people. So we've come to talk to a few London children.
Next. Crucifixion. Yes, good. Out of the door, line on the left, one cross each.
We perceive these British accents, like RP, as old.
And I suppose you'd represent the more archaic, old-fashioned RP?
Old-fashioned, I should wash your mouth out with soap and water.
Which is not accurate, as RP is quite modern, but it's the impression that counts. The pronunciation, enunciation, the rhythm. It all sounds old-fashioned, timeless, archaic.
Father gave it to you. Kept me alive for many a night in the desert.
Young Anglosphere nations like Americans, Australians or Canadians hear the RP and think, well, old, historic. But even international audiences expect to hear it when watching movies about ancient civilizations.
With respect, if we're going to recapture 400,000 slaves, we might need more than 3 divisions.
Even before I moved to the UK, the British Romans or Greeks sounded right. That's because we use a Polish voice-over, so we can still hear the original.
Lucjusz jest bezpieczny.
And yes, that's how I watched movies when we were kids. You can judge me. Of course, with the development of dubbing in native languages, the perception slowly changes.
Pierwsza rzecz, którą powinieneś zrobić po objęciu władzy, to pozbyć się jej.
Tak będzie.
Another interesting point to discuss is that the actual accent is not supposed to reflect historical accuracy, but rather represents power. Like I mentioned before, RP is an umbrella term, but most people link it to the British Empire, the elitist speech of the upper classes.
They found her vagina in North Carolina.
And her arsehole in Buckingham Palace.
It has the gravitas, the style that conveys the message of dominance. And especially in Hollywood, they use RP to compare the modern empire to great civilizations of the past, creating continuity of mostly Western civilization, which occasionally spills over to other ancient era movies.
You flatter me.
My interest is impersonal. Should you have any intention...
Now you flatter yourself.
The fighting is over.
Another interesting point I read is about the influence of Shakespeare and his plays, as he wrote about great Roman characters like Mark Antony or Julius Caesar. They have been performed with British accents on the stage, creating the false association between the voice and the names.
Caesar with Antonius prized so slight.
Sir, sometimes when he is not Antony, he comes too short of that great property.
Now, I'm not a Shakespearean scholar, but apparently he used a mix of dialects in his writing and plays, and you can comment if you know more about it.
Were half to half the world by the ears, and he upon my party, I'll revolt to make only my wars on him.
But with time, the stage productions and theatre started defaulting to RP. And when movies and TV productions took inspiration from the plays, they established the standard speech and British accents as the voice of historical dramas.
Patient yourself, madam, and pardon me. These are their brethren whom your Goths beheld, alive and dead. And for their brethren slain, religiously they ask a sacrifice.
And apparently, no one questioned it. We all went along with it.
O Julius Caesar, thou art mighty yet. Thy spirit walks abroad and turns our swords in our own proper entrails.
We did a bit of history and linguistics, but let's not kid ourselves, right? It's all about the money in a movie business. We are talking about mostly Western markets with mostly English-speaking audiences. And especially for Americans, RP and other British accents sound exotic and foreign without, being actually foreign.
Because of their accents, they kind of sound smart, so you just kind of assume that they're smart.
When filmmakers make a movie about Romans or ancient Greeks, they want the world to feel different, historic, and often epic, without making the audience put effort into reading subtitles in foreign languages. I mean, yeah, sometimes they do. But more often than not, they just put an accent on actual English dialogue as a contrast.
Whose law, Moses? Yours? Did you carve those tablets to become a prince over us?
Who is on the Lord's side?
And yeah, I get that a lot of people now use subtitles anyway, especially for streaming services. But it's one thing to put them on over English for comprehension.
He enters Rome like a conquering hero. What has he conquered?
Give him time, Gracchus. He's young.
And over a foreign language that you don't understand.
Senatorem publium quinctilium varum.
Verstehst du, was er sagt?
So we just go for this sort of illusion of ancient times. I mean, no one really knows how Greeks sounded thousands of years ago, so they might as well have British accents, right?
You know what's there? Waiting, beyond that beach. Immortality! Take it! It's yours!
Now prove that they didn't, because I bet you can't get me a real recording. The last reason why Hollywood uses British accents, besides the point that Brits are cheaper to hire, is the variety and elasticity of them. There are so many dialects that filmmakers can use to point out the differences between class, regions and status, which makes it easy to strategically use them. Like in Gladiator, where Commodus has more refined speech.
The general who became a slave. The slave who became a gladiator.
And Maximus, for lack of a better word, a more rugged tone, being an outsider and a contrast to the royals.
Nothing happens to anyone that he is not fitted by nature to bear.
Now, by the way, Joaquin Phoenix is an American and Russell Crowe is from New Zealand, so there you go. It makes it easier for us to quickly understand who's who when watching these stories. Now, there are exceptions, and the most recent one was, of course, Denzel Washington in Gladiator 2, who pretty much stuck to his New York accent.
Your father. He spoke of dreams, I speak of truth. And the only truth in my Rome is the law of the strongest.
He got criticized for it, apparently breaking the immersion, while everyone else used RP.
The barbarian hero! Let the gods decide!
Lucius,
Wait.
I mean, for starters, Denzel said his British accent is terrible, and he didn't want to do it.
You can put me out there as a front gunner to get me bleeding head blown off. I'm British then, yeah?
I remember watching that movie and thinking it was like a fever dream back in the day going...
That's the reason I didn't use an accent on this film. I was terrible in that. That accent was awful.
And two, it's not like British English is authentic in ancient Rome portrayals anyway. So it was more about breaking the conventions and I guess our expectations. People don't like change.
Not like this.
Every time someone tries something new, it's a risk. Charlton Heston's Ben-Hur accent was an RP.
We keep you alive to serve this ship. Row well and live.
Nor did Channing Tatum use it in The Eagle.
It was my decision to send out the patrol. It's my responsibility to bring him back. Much to the men.
It has been done before in successful movies too. Someone even compiled a list of actors speaking North American accents in Roman movies. I guess people just have too much time on their hands these days. Not like in good old Roman times. Once a repeated action becomes a pattern, it can quickly establish itself as a standard. And since the industry used British accents, and in particular RP, to portray ancient Western times for so long, not only we are used to it, we expect it. And it just feels wrong when someone deviates from it.
I own your house.
And with Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey on the horizon, I don't think he will use the original Greek for the characters.
Careful. You're about to lose your sword, and you need it.
But who knows, maybe he will. Or maybe he will use a good old-fashioned Polish voiceover. Thanks for watching.
Mówisz bardzo pewnie, czy sprawdziłeś? Nie, uważam, że to był żart, ser. Tak jak Cycus z Visus albo Kutas Wielgus